Hey guys, welcome back. We'll do another edition of some quant reasoning stuff, quantitative skills. And today we're continuing in Chapter 2, Section 2B, which covers some more advanced unit analysis, specifically unit conversions. And so we did Section 2A was about unit rates, and we'll kind of dovetail today's lesson back into 2A to show you how to do unit comparisons and better buys and things like that when you have different units. But we got to talk about how to change units first, okay? Your textbook provides you with a table of unit conversions both for English standard units as well as US standard to metric. All right, so this table will be provided for you on the exam. On the quiz, you'll have a smaller version of it. But make sure when you're doing the work in my math lab that you use this table from the textbook unless they provide you one inside the problem. If they provide you one inside the problem, then use what they give you. But because there's some that are slightly different, some of them round off a little bit different, whatever, they're not perfect conversions, especially US measurement to metric is not a perfect conversion rate. And so just understand that that can throw you off a little bit unless you're using the ones provided, okay? So again, this will be provided for you. I'll upload this into D2L if you want to print one out. But let's go to problem number 1 here and take a look. So how many seconds are there in a year? And again, this information is provided for you, but if you think about it, what do you know? You know there's 60 seconds in 1 minute, and there's 60 minutes in 1 hour. Right? And there are 24 hours in 1 day. And whenever we're doing this, unless it's otherwise specified, we use 365 days for 1 year. Okay, and so seconds to years means that we've got to translate one step at a time. You can't necessarily go straight from seconds to years, right? We don't have a conversion like that, but it's one of those things where you just have to find an intermediary. So minutes goes to hours, hours goes to days, days goes to years, and then we can do it. So how do we do something like that? Okay, how many seconds are in a year? We start with 60 seconds is equal to 1 minute. Now why do I have seconds on top? Because I want to have seconds as my answer, right? So seconds needs to be on top. And then if I multiply by what? 60 minutes is in 1 hour, then minutes go away. Minutes divides away minutes, and now I have seconds per hour. That's not enough, obviously. I've got to go 24 hours in 1 day. Now, let me make that a little thinner. And then multiply by, these are time symbols, these are not X's, these are time symbols, right? And then I have 365 days in 1 year. And so hours divides hours, days divides days, and then I have all these numbers, 60 times 60 times 24 times 365. All right, and so if we multiply that all the way out, I'm going to come down here and give you the answer. You just multiply across the top, 60 times 24 times 365. It's all divided by 1. And so we get the answer of 31,536,000 seconds. Make sure you get the correct unit labeled there. That's how many seconds are in 1 year, 31,536,000 seconds. Okay? And that's the process, and it takes just one step at a time, one step at a time. So if you jump down here to number 3, in France, the speed limit is 85 kilometers per hour. But you only know miles per hour. How fast can you go? Well, we write 85 kilometers per hour. And then we've got to go back to our conversions and look for miles to kilometers, or if we don't have one directly, then we look for a way to convert in between something, but we do have miles to kilometers right here. 1 kilometer is 0.6214 miles, or you can use 1 mile is 1.6083 kilometers. Depending on which one you use, that depends on the order, okay? So pick one of these and then come back here. Let's take a minute, pause the video, all right? Come back here and see if you can do the conversion. It's just one step. It's not as long as number 1. See if you can do it. Pause the video and come back in a minute. Okay, so once again, I'm going to use the conversion rate of 1 kilometer is 0.6214 miles. Kilometers were on the top, which means I need a kilometer on the bottom, 1 kilometer. And up here I get 0.6214 miles. And to emphasize that I'm going to have the right units at the end, I divide away the kilometers because they're top and bottom. I have miles on top and hours on the bottom. Okay, so I just take 85 times 0.6214 and I have 52.82 miles per hour if I round off to the nearest hundredth. Okay, these don't say where to round. My math lab will tell you where to round off to, and make sure that you follow that properly, because if you round off to the wrong number, you know, it'll take off there. All right, let's take a look at number 2 now. In number 2, we've got yards and seconds, but we want to convert to miles per hour. So now we have 2 conversions that has to happen. All right, 2 conversions have to happen. The same idea here would happen with number 4. So I'm going to have you do number 4, but I'm going to do number 2 for you. You got 40 yards in 4.4 seconds. Why did I decide to put yards on top and seconds on the bottom? Because I'm asking for miles per hour. Remember, per means divided by. So dividing by hours, I'm going to do divided by seconds. Okay, so I need to get yards to miles. Well, my conversion rate for that, you can look it up for yourself, is 1 mile is equal to 1,760 yards. Okay, that's a direct conversion, and yards divides yards. So I have the miles that I wanted, but now I need to get seconds to hours. And I can't do that directly. I have to go minutes and then hours. And so I have 60 seconds. Again, why did I put that on top? Because seconds was already on the bottom, and so I want to divide those away. 60 seconds is 1 minute, and then 60 minutes is 1 hour. Now, I know there are students that feel like they can kind of do this in a different way without having to really lay it out in this fraction times fraction times fraction form. My experience, though, guys, has been it doesn't work well. Sometimes you get the answer right, sometimes you don't. And so I really, really recommend that you kind of adopt this method. Now, how do I do this? Well, how I'm going to do this is I'm going to multiply everything across the top, 40 times 60 times 60. I get 144,000. The units up top are miles. Kind of running out of room there a little bit, sorry. And then on the bottom, I multiply 4.4 times 1760. And I get 7744 hours. But of course, that's not the answer that I'm looking for. The answer that I'm looking for is when I divide these out. So I have to take 100, because I want a unit rate. 144,000 divided by 7744. And I get 18.595, so that it rounds off to 18.6 miles per hour. 18.6 miles per hour. That's pretty quick. So I want you guys to pause the video again and come down here and take a look at number 4. It's almost exactly the same process, except you're going now from miles per hour to feet per second. Okay, be careful, this should say miles per hour. Sometimes we'll say miles an hour. Mathematically, we should make sure that it says per so we don't get confused, but miles an hour, miles per hour, same thing, still unit rate. Okay, so pause the video, try number 4, and see what you can get. Okay, so miles per hour, miles on top, hours on the bottom, and we want to change to feet per second. And so again, we're going to do the same thing we did last time, change miles to feet. Your conversion rate, if you look it up on your chart, 5,280 feet are in 1 mile. Again, how do I know the feet go on top? Because I already have miles. I want to divide them away, so I need one on the bottom. Then hours, I need to change 1 hour to minutes, 60 minutes on the bottom. And then 1 minute to 60 seconds on the bottom. Minutes divide minutes, hours divide hours. And so I'm left with feet on the top and seconds on the bottom, which is what I wanted, feet per second. Okay, and so if I multiply this all the way across the top and across the bottom, I'm going to do it all at once this time, guys. 60 times 5,280 divided by 60 times 60. Make sure you put that into a group in your calculator, and you get 88. 88 feet per second. Okay, so there's one more practice problem down here at the bottom, and then you have my MathLab homework as well as a new worksheet, a second worksheet in there to solve these types of problems. Now I want to bring this back to what we did in section 2A and the unit rates. Okay, so for unit rates, if you're given here, you're given ounces for money and ounces for money, then you do it just fine. Okay, no big deal. But when you're looking at something like problem number 3, 1 pound 4 ounces or 2 pounds 6 ounces. Okay, well, we can't compare those because those units aren't the same. Pounds and ounces together aren't the same, and so you need to convert. And so remember that 1 pound, LB stands for pound, 1 pound is 16 ounces. That's in your conversion chart. So we need to convert this 1 pound, right? 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. And so then we add 4, and we get 20 ounces of ribeye for $4.99. That's a pretty darn good deal. 2 pounds 6 ounces of filet for $9.75. I don't know where you're shopping, but man, what a deal that is. Okay, and so 2 pounds, you have 2 pounds times 16 ounces per pound. Pounds go away, and you get 32 ounces. And then of course we need to take 32 plus 6 and get 38 ounces. Alright, so what do I have? I have $4.99 for 20 ounces. And I'm going to compare that to this one, which is $9.75 for 38 ounces. All right, so it's the unit rate, same thing we did before, $4.99 divided by 20 is equal to $0.2495 per ounce. Okay, if we take 9.75 divided by 38, we get 0.2565. Okay, dollars per ounce. So this is slightly less, and again, sometimes you have to go out to 3 or 4 decimal places to get the difference, but because if I rounded this off, I'd get 25 cents per ounce, and that'd be 26 cents per ounce if you rounded, right? But still, you got to go where it is, and so this one's a slightly better buy. The ribeye is a slightly better buy. Now, obviously, the cut of meat maybe isn't as good, and so that's a little bit, it's not really comparing apples to apples, but that's beside the point. Okay, so the unit rate and the better buy comparisons need to be comparing the same units. And if they're not the same units, like in number 4, you have 2-liter bottle or 12 pack of 12-ounce cans. You got to convert liters to ounces or ounces to liters, one or the other, all right, in order to be able to compare fairly. Okay, so y'all try those problems as well. And again, there's worksheets in D2L for you to practice on, as well as your MyMathLab homework. And so work it out, and we'll see you later. Thanks.